Welcome back to Giant Monster Games! I'm Adrian, and we are playing some more Turbo Fog Mill. What do I think of this opening hand? I think it's actually a solid fog kind of hand. We're gonna keep it. I know we don't have we have no action when it comes to our actual, mill engine, but we do have some good fog effects in here. We also have Thought Scour, which we can use to, potentially do the thing that we do with our opponent, where we put some cards in their graveyard and then we draw a card, which we're going to do on our opponent's end step, probably, because we don't have any reason to do it on our turn, because it's an instant. So why let our opponent think that we don't have, or why we have... Why let our opponent know that we have nothing in our hand that is valid when we can play Thought Scour on their end step? We actually should have played it in response to this, because why not? So our opponent plays Temple of Deceit, which means they could be playing Ad Nauseam, would be my guess. Or some other combo-based deck, because usually when you're playing combo and you're looking for pieces, that's a really good card to be playing. Okay. Shipping it to our turn, which if we are playing against Ad Nauseam, Dawn Charm is going to come in major handy for us, and all of our Turbo Fogs are going to come in not handy. So let's throw down a Plains, ship it to our opponent's turn, see what they play. Again, I'm willing to bet it's Ad Nauseam. If he plays a Gilded Lotus, we know it's Ad Nauseam. And we are waiting for, Dark Shores, and he plays Prism, again, very Ad Nauseam-ish. Okay, I haven't actually played against Ad Nauseam on MTGO, actually. I don't think ever played it on MTGO, which is neat for me. We have another turn. He's not going to go off next turn, in theory. He may, probably not. So I think we're going to actually get down Temple Bell. We're going to chance it. Because Ad Nauseam tends to be, not very often consistent, or not very often turn 3, but almost always turn 4. And because we were on the play, we were on the play, he is one more turn. So our opponent, Serum Vision's case, our opponent's looking for something still. Might as well draw cards. Scry. Dawn Charm is going to be really handy here against against Ad Nauseam, solely because it'll allow us to end step, drawing cards. It'll allow us to counter whatever when he targets us, which is good. Again, all of this fog stuff is not very good for us at all, to be quite honest. Okay, ship it to our opponent's turn. Let's see if they got it. They normally do. I'm scared. I'm very scared now. Okay. The other option is, you mean 99% of the time as well. So we have to play Dawn Charm, at last minute. Sleight of hand, okay. The opponent's still looking, so they might not actually have it. So there's a number of pieces that go along with Ad Nauseam. So, I need to do a deck tech on, how Ad Nauseam plays. I'm not going to try and explain it here now because it's a little bit more convoluted and I kind of need to actually showing you cards. So he is going for it. He has Phyrexian Unlife. So let's Thought Scour. See if we draw into anything relevant. Howling Mine is not relevant. Okay, so our opponent's going to get Phyrexian Unlife, which means they can't lose the game right now. So if they're going to take a bunch of damage, they're not going to lose the game. So they play Phyrexian Unlife, then they're going to play Ad Nauseam right now. Oh, I guess they can play this turn and then play it next turn, which is something they can totally do. So they can't lose the game right now, but we can still mill them out. We can't lose the game for having 0 life, I should actually say. That's actually an important thing to note right now. Okay, so we're going to play the Plains, and we can play... we might as well play Howling Mine. Do we play Howling Mine? We can play Temple Bell and still... Well, actually, let's not play Howling Mine. Howling Mine gives our opponent a lot of options. So we are going to play Temple Bell right now. Our opponent doesn't quite know what we're playing yet. We haven't shown him anything, technically. So, yeah, let's ship it to our opponent's turn. I mean, we've shown them we have a bunch of draw. So there's a bunch of options. He probably should guess that it is a mill deck that we're playing, because that's usually what a lot of draw happens. But we could be playing something else kind of weird in Rogue, because we don't have any dual lands. We should have some kind of mana fixing, which we don't actually have. So our opponent may be guessing what we're playing. So let's see. So he's going to City of Brass himself. And this should be the moment where he plays Ad Nauseam, draws his entire deck. So he's revealing a whole bunch of cards. Let's see, if he draws his entire deck, we can force him to draw cards with Temple Bell. Usually he draws until he finds his win con. Yes. So our opponent is going minus life right now, but it doesn't really matter that he's going minus life because he can't lose for having minus life. So yeah. 5, 4, 3, 2, 2. Come on. If our opponent still wants to draw more card, no, our opponent knows. Our opponent knows. Okay. So our opponent knows he can't draw an additional card, which is very smart on his part. No, he drew one more card. So now we can stop skipping, and we can just force our opponent to draw 2 cards and lose the game. In theory. Okay. So again, he's just revealing cards on top of his deck. So he has drawn all this stuff. Is his win condition now? It is an instant speed. Okay, so we have to make him draw in response to this. So let's see what our opponent decides he wants to do. Because right now he's going to aim to like play Lightning Storm, discarding a whole bunch of lands to do us a ton of damage. In theory, though, we can always just discard. We can also play Dawn Charm to counter it. So we should be fine, in theory. Our opponent has 3 red mana up because he's exiling Simian Spirit Guides. So he's going to play Lightning Storm. Yep. Lightning Storm. Putting 2 charge counters on it. We're going to let our opponent do a whole bunch of stuff here. And then we are going to make our opponent draw 2 cards and lose the game. This is the plan. This is the plan. The other option he has, he should technically have a 1-of, is it? Unless it's literally his last card. But he should also, in theory, I don't see it. Usually Ad Nauseam also runs a single Laboratory Maniac as a backup win con, in case, you mean, somehow they get rid of Lightning Storm out of your hand. But it looks like he's running... It looks like he's just running a single Lightning Storm. Unless he had Laboratory Maniac in his hand. Which is the other potential option. The other potential option. So yeah. So this is basically what Ad Nauseam does. They play something that allows it so they don't lose the game when they go to like minus life. Then they play Ad Nauseam, which allows you to draw cards off your top of your deck, and every single time you draw a card, you lose life equal to its converted mana cost. And then, at least I'm sure that's what it does, right? Lose life equal to its converted mana cost, so you're going to take a ton of damage. You reveal your entire deck basically until you reveal Lightning Storm and 4 Simian Spirit Guides, or like draw these cards as well. Then you exile the Simian Spirit Guides to play Lightning Storm. So each player draws a card. Is our opponent responding to this? Each player draws a card. And this should lose our opponent the game right now from drawing an extra card. Each player draws a card. Do you have a response opponent? Otherwise you... Oh, he does. Angel's Grace. You can't lose the game this turn. Your opponent can't win the game. This is fine. And it has split second as well, which is fine. Okay, so we have to let Angel Grace resolve. Which now we are going to Dawn Charm. Counter target spell that targets you. Countering Lightning Storm. There you go, opponent. You don't have any mana, so I don't see you countering that. They may be able to counter it, actually. They have a single counter left on Prism. Yeah, or Pact of Negation. That is also a card that works. Well done, opponent, well done. I should have guessed that. I should have been like, oh yeah, Pact of Negation. I didn't see it in here, so he had it in his opening hand. Should have guessed it. That's fine. And our opponent draws 0 cards, but can't lose the game because of Angel's Grace. Sad day for us. Okay, well, ship it to our opponent's turn. And they will kill us because they're going to do a ton of damage. Ton of damage. Yeah. So that's Ad Nauseam for you. Usually you want to try and get rid of stuff like Phyrexian Unlife and things like this. There's like things you have to be countering. So we're going to throw in a bunch of negates, take out all of our fog effects because he doesn't have any creatures. And we're just going to see if we can outrace him. That's really what it's going to be. Or not outrace him, we're just going to see if we can actually out-counter him. Basically prevent his deck from actually winning. So there you go. Let's so all of the fog effects come out. So fogs, you come out. Eternal Hazes, you come out. What else comes out? Dawn Charm stays in. Angelsong comes out. Don't need you either. Witchbane Orb is something we actually need. Oblivion Ring can come in. Negates all come in. Negate, you come in. Exile target artifact or enchantment, yes, you come in. Gideon's Intervention is also really good. Choose a card name, can't play that card. Prevent all damage that we dealt to sources of the chosen source. So yeah, Gideon's comes in. Do I play Kor Firewalker? I mean, realistically, he's playing a single red spell, so it's not actually going to be that handy for us. What else? Tormod's Crypt. Is Tormod's Crypt any value to us? No, because he's not playing his stuff in his graveyard. And we're not drawing. If this was Relic of Progenitus, and it would be okay, but because we draw a card from it, potentially, but it's not going to be worth it for us. So I think that's what we go with, and run her back. Again, we still need to mill our opponent out to win the game. So that is something to keep in mind. So we're going to play first. I think we're like 50-50 favored in this one. So I think this is an okay starting hand. Ghost Quarter, maybe not the best. We don't have any action, but we are going to be drawing in stuff. And again, our opponent's deck doesn't often go off on turn 3. It almost always goes off on turn 4, though. So this is something to keep in mind, that with Ad Nauseam, you generally have a little bit of time. The smallest amount of time. But you can usually get stuff done in that amount of time. So play it, ship it to our opponent's turn, and we are going to have to be smart. I mean, we're going to have to be smart on this one. Ad Nauseam. Yeah. So, scrying. Okay. Whew! Playing against some harder decks here. I'm playing against a bunch of like harder decks today, largely because I actually played like 5 games against like the friendly fun match area, and just people kept totally being like, nope, not interested. After playing like 1 match, they like drop, and I'm like, ah. So I'm like, okay, let's go play against some tournament matches. Usually tournament matches will actually play against you know, a lot, because they want to see what's going on. So we're playing against some harder decks now, which for me is difficult, because playing against Ad Nauseam is good, but it's also really difficult, and I need to know really what I'm doing. So okay, so Howling Mine is going to accelerate us, but it may also accelerate our opponent, which is scary. We need to draw into counter stuff, like really badly, really badly. Because he's going to have, or stuff to remove his, like, Phyrexian life. So, okay, turn 2, going to turn 3. If we don't draw, Dawn Charm is something that will help us. Double Dawn Charm will help us even more. Unfortunately, we don't have any white mana. But we can play Temple Bell. And actually, no point in doing anything else. So, ship it to our opponent's turn. Yep. And then on their end step, we're going to draw cards. I'm surprised. Usually turn 2, they end up playing like a Prism or something. Or maybe it's turn 3 they play Prism. I thought it was turn 2 they usually play Prism. Didn't see it. Phyrexian Unlife. So that means he's probably going to go for it next turn. Yeah, might as well draw a card. In response, we need to get rid of that, is what needs to happen. Because they can't play their combo if they have Phyrexian Unlife. What we need is white mana as well, really badly. Really badly. Again, we should be able to go against them if we draw the right cards, and right now we don't have the right cards. Not having white mana is extremely problematic for us. Okay, that's really good. Forsake the Worldly. I think we have to forsake the Worldly right now, actually. So, what we need to do, tap both these guys down. Actually, we're going to draw a card first. I should have actually done this before. Nice. That's actually really good as well. We need to sacrifice Ghost Quarter, targeting this guy. Because we need a Plains. It's really what's going on here. We need a Plains. Alright, Plains. Tapping that. Cast Destroying Phyrexian Unlife. And then we can play the second Ghost Quarter, I guess. And we don't have anything else, no other action, so ship it to our opponent's turn. They need to spend another turn to play another Phyrexian Unlife. But they're drawing extra cards, which is good for them. The other thing is they can also just play an Angel's Grace to prevent them from losing the game as well. Lotus Bloom. Sorry, I thought it was Gilded Lotus. Lotus Bloom is what actually just got put into... Oh, he has a bunch of stuff. That's scary. So he has another Phyrexian life, which is good for our opponent, not very good for us. And does he go for it? He is not going for it, which is good for us because we can play Gideon's Intervention. We also have Negate, which is good. There's the second planes. Excellent. So we can play Gideon's Intervention, naming Phyrexian Unlife. Oh, not Phyrexian Unlife, naming Ad Nauseam. So, because, yeah, this card is going to make it so R1. So when it's out of the field, we choose a card name. Your opponents can't cast spells with the chosen name, and you prevent all damage from that spell as well. So our opponent needs to deal with this. So, Ad Nauseam. So we name Ad Nauseam, so our opponent can't play it, which is good for us. Ship it to our opponent's turn, and then we will draw a card at their end step, and hopefully get our mill engine up and running. Really what we need at this point as well is we needed untapped blue mana so we can negate whatever he's going to use to destroy this, because at some point he will destroy this. It is something he will do. I'm actually a little bit surprised. He must not, I mean, if he had, what is the one that counter? Pact and Negation, he would have totally played it against this. But right now he's just looking for another way of destroying this probably. And we have Negate, which is good. And we need to just roll it onto our opponent's end step. And what does our opponent decide he wants to do? He's going to go to his end step, I'm sure, which we're going to draw cards. Drawing cards is always fun for everyone. The only downside about drawing extra cards is our opponent, in theory, is going to be actually drawing potentially answers. So that's always scary as well. Always yield on you. Howling Mine, we draw cards. And the thing is, we can always start ghost quartering his stuff away. But I mean, that can then potentially give him more answers. So let's play another land. We need to keep up Negate. We could Thought Scour our opponent, theoretically. We can also play Dictate of Kruphix on our opponent's end step. We should have played the island. I didn't realize we actually had double planes already in play. So I kind of want to leave up stuff because I don't think our opponent's gonna. I don't think our opponent's gonna go off next turn. So let's go like this. Let's play a Temple Bell, which is fine. We are going to ship it to our opponent's turn. On their end step, we're going to draw a bunch of extra cards, and then we're actually going to get our... I have to discard stuff as well. I can discard Ghost Quarter. I don't really need it. So Lotus Blooms come into play, which is fine. I know they say they just leave counters on him. Okay. At this point, we just need to force our opponent to start milling, and then they're actually... Well, again, they can draw into answers. They can totally draw into answers. Right now, we went from like a Turbo Fog mill deck to like a control mill deck, which is kind of fun. I mean, assuming they don't have any creatures, so it's fun for us. So, that, again, the thing I'm assuming right now is Laboratory Maniac is probably going to be their backup win con right now. Because they should have put it in. We are playing a mill deck, which means their deck may just empty. Which if they can play it, then that's good for them. And we don't have any way of countering it, which is the other side right now. We don't have any way of bouncing. If they play Laboratory Maniac, we actually have no way of dealing with it, which is scary. But I don't think our opponent knows that. Our opponent is going for the damage plan. That's super funny. That is really funny, actually. I'm not gonna lie. Simian Spirit Guide, going for attacks. Okay, well, that's a thing. That is a thing that happens. I bet he's gonna play a second one. He's gonna play a second one. I bet he's going to play a second one. Double Simian Spirit Guide. 4 damage a turn. And we have fog effects. We took out most of them. We do have a couple of them. Which is actually really, really funny. I think it's really funny. Okay, so Temple Bell. Each player draws a card. Yep. In response, we're going to play another Temple Bell. Isn't it going to be amazing? Move this over. Move it over here. So it's not blocking everything. It's blocking some stuff. Another Temple Bell. Oh, Fraying Sanity is going to be really good next turn as well. And we're actually going to hold up on Thought Scour. Yeah, we're going to hold up on Thought Scour. Because I would like to Thought Scour after I have Fraying Sanity in play. And Oblivion Ring. That's pretty rad. Oblivion Ring is how we deal with Laboratory Maniac if he plays Laboratory Maniac. So, at this point, what do? I think I play Fraying Sanity. on our opponent. Which is fun. Which is very fun. And when we discard, what we discard? We discarded an island. We're at, what, 9 cards in hand, and we need to go down to 7. We could actually... Oh, he's going to Pact Negation it. That's neat. Let's counter that, I guess. Why not? Sorry. I don't really want you to do that. I'd really like to have Fraying Sanity in play because it's going to make you mill really fast. And then I can't play Thought Scour anymore. We're going to take some damage from the apes, but 4 damage is not the end of the world. And I think we just ship it to our opponent's turn. We're going to have to discard a bunch of stuff, which is fine. Totally fine. Whew. This game's getting crazy. Getting crazy. Ad nauseam. It's hard to play. I mean, playing against Ad nauseam, it's like walking on eggshells the entire time. Okay, we discarded an island, and that's it. That's all we have to do. Whew. Okay, discarded an island. Because we ended up playing a card out of our hand. Okay, so our opponent, if we start milling them, they're going to start milling a lot. So he's going to get 2 Lotus Blooms into play, which doesn't really help him at this point because he can't play Ad nauseam. Again, if he finds a way of getting rid of this, then he can probably just go off and kill us. So we are playing a very dangerous game right now. A very, very dangerous game. The dangerousest of games. And the thing is, we're going to have to play Temple Bell in his second main phase. Unfortunately, because we want him to we want to make him discard. Oh no, we can do it on end step, then his cleanup he has to discard a bunch of cards, which is fantastic. So he's going to swing in for 4. He's going on the damage plan, which is super funny. You don't often see Ad nauseam go on the damage plan. Okay. And does he play stuff on his second main phase? I mean, he should. He's going to discard cards otherwise. If there's anything he has to play, Serum Visions, I guess. Serum Visions, though, activates with Fraying Sanity, so that's a little bit scary for our opponent. Because sure, they're going to draw a card, but Serum Vision goes into the graveyard, which means this gets a counter on it, which means, or it gets a +1, I should say. Because Fraying Sanity is super fun, because it counts the number of cards that went into your opponent's graveyard from anywhere. So if they play a spell, that's a card that goes to your graveyard. If you play a, if you mill a bunch of cards go to the graveyard. Creature dies, cards go to the graveyard. So it's super funny. The only thing that doesn't count is tokens. I don't think tokens count as going to the graveyard, because they disappear when they hit the graveyard, so they don't actually get counted by anything. So yeah. Which is why cards that, say, when a creature goes to the graveyard, blah, 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 versus when a creature dies, because when a creature dies, then it goes to the graveyard. So there's a difference between the 2 triggers. We're just waiting on our opponent at this point. Just waiting on our opponent. Theoretically, there is, better versions of this card as well. We're playing Gideon's Intervention because it's super budget right now, but there is, what is it? I can't remember, something Crown or something Ring. It's basically a 2-drop version of this, which is substantially better, but it's also 12 to 20 bucks. So, yeah, that is a thing. That is a thing that happens. Alright, so our opponent is playing more cards. You're going to put more cards in your graveyard? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with you putting cards in your graveyard. So he's going to Serum Visions again. I guess he's just trying to draw into something that matters. Maybe another Simian Spirit Guide. Maybe. It's completely possible. What would be really nice as well in our hand right now would be a Cryptic Command. I think Cryptic Command would be very nice. And what else is our opponent doing? He's sitting. He's probably wondering, can I win right now? Is there anything I can do to win? I mean, he's obviously going to go on the damage plan, which is a potential option, but how much of a potential option is it? Is a real question. We're about to find out. So our opponent is just kind of burning their clock away. This is the first time I've ever seen our opponent way less time than we have. I mean, obviously he's playing a combo deck, so there's a little bit more stuff going on. Oh, City Brass. Always yield. I'm okay with our opponent taking a little bit of damage from that. Mind you, it doesn't really make any difference to us. Laboratory Maniac, which is fine, because we have Oblivion Ring. So we knew it was coming down. We knew Laboratory Maniac was a thing. And he used his Pact Negation. Oh, it triggers on end step. Oh no, but we can in response to put more counters on it. In response, we make people draw more cards, which means our opponent is going to have to... Oh, because cleanup actually doesn't count. Sad face, Adrian. Sad face. What is he playing? Choose a card name. Reveal that card from the top of your library and tell you... Okay. Spoils of the Vault. What is he trying to grab here? What is he trying to do? Oh. We just lost the game. This is what happened. We just lost the game. That's just super funny. So opponent's gonna Spoils of the Vault, draw their entire deck. So yeah. So he's gonna name a card that is not in his deck, draw his entire deck. Or actually just exile them, I think it is. Yeah, exile all of the cards revealed this way. And then when he goes to draw a card, he wins the game because he has Laboratory Maniac in play. I was reckless. I should have not played Temple Bell. I should have actually Oblivion Ringed his Laboratory Maniac on my turn. Yep, so our opponent has no cards in hand, and that is us losing because I misplayed. That is the biggest punt I have seen in a while from me. Dang it, I should have known that. I should have known that. Okay, so yeah, basically what ended up happening, he just drew his entire library. He has no cards in his deck. Mind you, what could have happened is we could have actually... Oh no, yeah. So he drew his entire deck. Because he has Laboratory Maniac in play, which is if you draw a card while you have no cards in your library, you win the game instead. So our opponent just won the game because we gave him Temple Bell draw. Yep, that's our opponent winning. Anyhow, this has been Triple Fog Mill against Ad Nauseam. I played really poorly, so we didn't win any matches, but you did see there's some line of plays where I could have potentially won. Again, Oblivion Ring, Laboratory Maniac would have actually probably given us the win, because our opponent would have had very little ways, because they only have one Laboratory Maniac in their deck. Anyhow, until next time, I'm Adrian, this is Giant Monster Games, thanks for watching, and don't forget to game like a giant monster.